Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 22nd of June 2021, and on quite a nice little day trip today up to Colchester Castle to have a look around there. And yeah, Colchester is, or was, a real kind of centre of the Roman occupation in Britain way back in the day, of course. It was one of their major power centres, so just had an interesting couple of hours there walking around the museum, looking at Roman artefacts, and also what happened in Colchester in sort of later centuries. One interesting little nugget of information that I picked up as we made our way around is that in the late 1500s, Colchester was a centre of the cloth trade, which prospered apart from in times of war when it declined, and then there was a lot of poverty around and frequent rioting apparently, and the people of Colchester became known as troublemakers and sort of haters of authority. Well, that kind of reminds me of someone, don't know who, and didn't see much kind of evidence of that sort of spirit when I was going around today, however, but never mind. One thing, as I'm kind of in a bit of a historical frame of mind today, one thing I've noticed about people like us is, well, two things. There's a lot of us who tend to be very spiritual. I guess that's not really surprising because, you know, we kind of are perhaps more tuned in to things when they're just not right. So I'm not surprised there's a lot of spiritual people like us, and I'll probably be doing another video in the future about that. But the other trait I've noticed is a lot of people who think along the lines we do are very, what I call, historically aware, very much into their history, love history, as I do. I really sort of love history. I just find it so interesting seeing how people kind of lived in the past and what they had to put up with, and what happened in the various different periods. It really is fantastic, and I do like visiting museums and castles just to kind of get a bit of the first-hand, well, not first-hand experience, but you know what I mean, sort of seeing things that are handled by them centuries ago. And the other reason I like history is, because a lot of people, they say, what is the point of history? It's, you know, it's just a waste of time learning history, and which is utter rubbish, isn't it? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you know your history, it's almost like having a crystal ball into the future as well, because even though centuries pass and millennia pass and things change, new technology emerges, the one thing that doesn't change really is human nature and human psychology. We're basically the same as the people in Roman times, ancient Egyptian times, and going way back from there as well. So people tend to do the same things, they make the same mistakes, and it's so interesting, especially when you see parallels in history. You just think stuff that was going on in, I don't know, let's say the 1850s, and then you sort of think, well, why didn't they sort of pick up on what was going on in the 1290s? Because it's pretty much the same thing, and if a few more people were aware of that, the stuff, that thing that happened in the 1850s wouldn't have happened. And this is theoretical, but you know what I'm saying, parallels in history. And it is like having your own crystal ball, because you can just sort of look at things, see what's happening today, and just think, well, hang on, this is kind of what happened back here and back there. Of course, we're sort of talking now about what has happened in the totalitarian regimes of the 20th century. So many parallels. So I'd highly recommend, and I know I'm probably preaching to the converted, but yeah, just looking at history, getting an interest in history is something I can highly recommend. Historical documentaries, and there's plenty of them on YouTube. One guy I've been watching quite a lot of, and he's a guy called Mark Felton, Felton, Mark Felton Productions, and he does a lot of stuff mainly about the Second World War, and yeah, kind of lots of lesser known things a lot of the time he does about the Second World War. So highly recommend his channel among many others. And if you know any kind of good historical channels, I'd be interested in hearing about them, just in case I haven't heard of them myself, and I can go and check them out. And yeah, just yeah, kind of leave a comment below. Yeah, what do you think about history? Are you into it? Do you think it's valuable as a predictor of the future? And yeah, like I say, if you've got any recommendations as to sort of good historical channels on YouTube or elsewhere, again, leave it in the comments. I can't have any video about historical perspective without talking about the significance of today's date, which if you're into your history, you probably already realise. But the 22nd of June 2021 is the 80th anniversary of the 22nd of June 1941, which was the date that the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union. And what a titanic, terrible struggle that was. And the loss of life was just appalling, absolutely appalling, and on both sides, but especially on the Russian side. The amount of suffering that they had to endure was just unbelievable. And you know, we just need to sort of pause a moment, I think, to just reflect on that. So, Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.